our finances right.
Hey, I like it.
It's the start of the new month, so we're getting our finances right.
I've got uh I've got some exciting stuff in the works, y'all. I feel like let me start the stage. I feel like I was hitting a standstill with my business, with the marketing and the ads, trying to spend. Dan, I've spent over $10,000 in PPC with zero ROI so far.
You spent
Just
what?
throwing that out there. I've spent over $10,000 in PPC with zero ROI so far. This is a reality, guys. When Dan talks about you need money to, you got to pay to play, bro. You sometimes got to pay to play. I'm just letting everybody know I have spent over $10,000 with zero ROI in Facebook ads. We have some, deals under contract right now. We've got two under contract. Hopefully, I can break even after that. But
Got to refine that
10k,
process.
10k with break even or zero ROI is
How many
not
leads?
a, the leads thing is like we get a lot of we were getting people to fill out the form. I don't know what happened. We were getting people interested in an offer, and then all of a sudden, the form got bombarded with like bots, just filling it out. It's not real people, fake emails, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And it, it's just it's the reality of business, and one thing I saw on my timeline. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Morning, Bob.
Morning, gents.
Morning,
Good
Bob.
morning,
One th-
everyone.
Good morning.
Sorry,
One thing
Shay.
I saw on my timeline was that nobody's posting their failures, nobody's talking about their losses, and I feel like that's something that I think I should share with people is just the reality of what's actually going on in my business and the challenges that I'm actually facing. Because I don't want people to think that this is just a get rich quick kind of thing, and that there's real tangible risk involved. And I have really spent over $10,000 to see nothing yet. And I'm not really discouraged about this, and I'll tell you why here in a second. Is because I find this to be just the cost of figuring this business out. And
Hmm.
I know
Facts.
that this is setting me up to be in a position where I now have more experience with the ads. We've bought data, so now I know a little bit more about what's performing, what's not performing, what works, what doesn't work, what can I fix. And we're still running tests, and I'm still committed to figuring this thing out. And once I get it figured out, that 10K that I'm spending now to get to where I'm at today is going to be spent, and I'm going to be getting multiple leads that will convert into deals. But I just wanted to throw that out there, and just keep it real with everybody, just so that more people understand. Like, everybody thinks that there's some quick fix, like maybe it's cold calling or SMS, or if I can just get the money to invest into PPC, I'm going to automatically get leads that turn into deals. But the reality is, it's still a risk, and I just want to let people know, I'm taking that risk head on. I've spent the money, like this is real money, and I've gotten no return yet. So hopefully we can break even. We got two deals in the pipeline. We're trying to renegotiate the price on one, and then the other one, we just actually Savion locked it up live last night, late last night, a novation. So we're gonna throw that up on the market this week. But that's where we're at right now. And I just want to throw that out there and let everybody know, that's interested in doing this business, that this is real. This is not a get rich quick kind of thing. And these are the types of risks that you run when you really want to take this business seriously.
How are you guys underwriting these novations?
How you get them on the
We
market so fast?
Well, we reach out to agents. So, for example, the property that we locked up yesterday, we originally had it under contract for a normal traditional cash transaction, and it didn't work out. I sent a buyer out there; they never got back to me. So, Savion and I reached out to an agent in the area to see, what is it that they think we could list it for and get it sold. We have it under contract for 62.5. and the agent was telling us that they think it would sell on market for 85,000. So after the agent commission and closing costs, it's about a 15,000 spread. So
Right.
we'll be around like a 15,000 spread on that deal.
Did you have the agent? You had the agent go out to the property?
Not yet. They've only seen the photos, but they've
Okay.
sold properties in the area, so they honestly know the most about that area. We're just. I'm really starting to recognize this as like we really just market to people. We just find opportunities,
Yeah.
but like to really be able to work with professionals that actually do business in that area is really the best strategy for a transaction, in my opinion. And that's why I'm really such a big fan of novations.
So I'm gonna ask, because for me, maybe I got trust issues just from stuff in the past, but I get very skeptical about wanting to blast stuff out to people or having them. I guess that's just the nature of this business, right? Um, what would you guys say has been working for y'all? Because y'all been killing it with novations too. How would you go about getting a realtor to go out there, maybe, with the seller there on the property? Because I think the biggest concern could be the realtor trying to cut you out and going direct to the seller, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if we can, we always want to do like a referral from somebody that's done a novation with an agent in the area. So the first thing that I do is I reach out to people in the REI Rev community and I ask, hey, has anybody done a novation in this area? Does anybody have a good agent referral for a novation in this area? And if somebody has a referral, I feel a little bit more comfortable because they already know the rundown. They've done this type of transaction before. But generally, we try to get something under contract before we go that route of like getting the agent involved. Like for example, on this one land deal, um, you know, I don't have any buyers in the area, and I can't novate that deal. So it would have to be an assignment off market. But I did call an agent, and I didn't reveal anything specific until I have the property under contract. But I asked, hey, like, do you think that buyer might be interested in a property in the same area? But I would always suggest, guys, don't reach out to agents or talk about addresses or any of that stuff until you have a property under contract, because, like Dante said, it is a very real possibility that that person could backdoor you if they don't have respect for you. So you got to make sure
Speaking
that.
of backdoor,
Go ahead.
I have a deal in Dallas, Grand Prairie. Um, New Western, I guess, tried to outbid me. They tried to sell it. They weren't successful. I think they backed out. We filed a memorandum. Uh, my attorney also let me know that it's illegal to sign two contracts in the state of Texas. Um,
In every
but
state, isn't it?
maybe I don't know. States are different, but so my thing is for this. There is a group of people, and we're not just going to isolate one big box wholesaler. We're gonna talk about everybody in the industry as a whole. But there's some, and I've had this happen to me like numerous times where the seller calls me and says, "Oh, I don't want to sell the house anymore," or "Oh, I decided I don't want to sell." Okay, so somebody is planting stuff in sellers' ears, convincing them to tell whoever has the original contract that they don't want to sell anymore, in hopes that that person will back out of the contract. And so there is one situation, the guy was like, I just found out I had terminal cancer. I'm like, fuck. And so we were like, well, look, we're not necessarily wanting to back out of this, but if you need time, we'll give that to you. And then the seller says, I'll pay you 2,500 to back out of this contract. Mind you, this is most likely going to be a six-figure novation in San Diego.
Ooh.
But something in me was like, man, I don't know. What if this guy does have cancer? He just doesn't want to leave anywhere. So I think maybe I took like the good conscious route, because I could have been like, no, feel better. I'll see you when you're ready to sell. Um, but then the other side of me is like, all right, what if somebody's just feeding these sellers this information? So I guess maybe if anyone is out there, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. And this is why I'm asking: is there's a way to battle that, or do we have to keep going the other route where we got to bring in legal to do stuff? Because quite frankly, I'm tired of fucking doing it. Like,
How
having to
quickly
do the
though
back
did that seller back out? Like, how long were you under contract with them before they backed out?
like a week,
Were
like
you already
like a
marketing the
week.
property? Do you think somebody saw the property and went direct to them?
We did market. Well, we marketed to a couple close people we know. So it's if it's not them, it's a realtor that's like, maybe I can get you more money. The thing is we've had this happen before, and I mean, we had one lady. She tried backing out completely, and then um her attorney told her he was gonna get her out of the contract. Well, that getting her out of the contract just costed her $26,000.
Wow. What? How did that happen?
And I don't really like doing that. I hate doing that, but I'll like at the same time, like we're putting time into getting these deals. And if
Right.
we're gonna put the time in,
No, yeah,
whether we
you,
didn't put in very much money,
you
like
can't hate doing that, man. It's like I hate, getting into arguments and stuff with customers or whatever and stuff. But you have to remember at the end of the day, and this goes for everybody in here, man, like what you all have to remember is we run a business, and whatever you do, we all this is like I've tried to say it, this is not a game. Like nothing that we're doing, if you're involved in the money making activity, this is an actual business. Whether you want to make this a business or not, it is what it is.
yeah,
So, I mean, this is a real game. You're playing with real business people. Don't try to fuck people over. Don't waste people's
right.
time. Like,
That's the thing. It's the time
and
wasting.
when you defend your spot for what you're doing, do not feel bad. We had a customer the other day, try to, fight us on a fee that we were throwing on them for something that was, right there on our website. And they were trying to fight us on it and trying to make me feel bad for that. And the bottom line is like I said, look, guys, I said, this is a business. I run a business because their whole thing was, oh, well, you don't really need this money though, because you have this, it doesn't matter, right? Like if that seller comes to you, oh, well, you don't even need this house. You have plenty. Well, it doesn't matter, right? This is a business. Like you said, you spent your time, you put out you put out your effort, right? Like
Yeah,
you never, like
that's for
everybody
me.
get this inside your head. Never feel bad about defending your position for what you're doing in your life to make money. It never matters how much money you make, how well you do, or whatever you have, or whatever the other person doesn't have. This is a profession. Everybody in here is trying to run a profession. So, and this goes for everybody else as well. Make sure that you guys all respect each other's time when you guys are doing deals together.
Facts.
Right, and don't waste or run around or shoot somebody else's deal around or squeeze it around just to like business is business,
Hmm.
and this is at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we stand with what it is that we're doing. The thing is like I talk to a lot of people that are like, oh man, I feel bad because I'm this person's house, this person they can't afford this, or I don't want to take them to court because they can't. It doesn't matter, dude. Like
Like
you sign a
I got
contract, you
I
sign
got
terms and
yelled
conditions, you're done.
I got yelled at by my attorneys yesterday because they're blaming me for the very high percentage rate of us having to go up against sellers that don't want to sell, or something happens, or I don't know.
I
It
think it's
seems
a
like
high
there's a
risk. It's a high risk business, and your attorneys are
super.
getting paid. Are your attorneys getting paid?
Well, luckily they're friends of mine, so they're contingent upon the results. So
Okay,
not everybody gets that type of lucky with those type of attorneys, right? So it's
right.
results driven, but they are threatening because of how much work they're putting in that they're going to start charging 500 an hour, or put me on a retainer for 5,000 a month, which I was considering because I'm like,
Well,
shit,
I
that's only
mean, yeah,
60K a year.
it might be worth it. I mean, if you're really
Yeah,
considering, you have that much risk, dude. Like, what I
yeah,
mean, sometimes like, too, you got to
I was-
make sure you respect their time, right? Like, it's great that they're your
right,
friends and all that stuff, but like, make sure that you're respecting, their
right.
time for what they're
Well,
putting in
and
to do it, and what they might be able to get you back might actually pay it for itself. So, I mean,
I think that's the subject today is being mindful of people's time. A lot of people think, even wholesalers that are bringing deals because they don't have money, They don't have no skin in the game. But people keep forgetting the value of sweat equity. Like, time is valuable. I mean, let's be honest. We could all make as much money as possible, but and money comes and goes, right? But time, you can't get that shit back, right? So when you waste my time, it's frustrating. So it's like, at this point, you're needing to pay for my time that I put into this.
Yes.
So
file those memorandums, guys. File them.
File those memorandums and lawyer up. It makes things so much easier. Hey, my attorney needs to look at this. Perfect. Let's get your attorney on the phone with my attorney.
Work with title companies that have attorneys, that are attorneys. Get them on your side. Bring them business. Close deals with them. Help them make money.
Straight up.
And I promise you, like they will work with you and consult with you for free just because they want to help you close deals because you bring them cash. We have a great attorney like that here in Miami that helps us with the whole state of Florida. We have one in Texas. I have a guy in Texas, you know what I mean? And I have one in Ohio. I have in all the 3 major states that we operate in, we have legal counsel there. So, it doesn't hurt. And we develop those relationships, by helping those people, get deals in through their title company. So, don't ever, shy away from working with title companies that are attorneys. Work with those people, get them on your side, bring them those deals because they'll protect you in the deal.
Yeah.
That's some secret sauce right there for this business.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I love it.
That's some good stuff. Hey, by the way, shout out to REI Rev. I gotta give John Johnson his flowers. The creative REI community is growing. We're doing deals daily. I think we're locking up a contract or 2 a day. And a lot of that could not have been done without the beautiful community of REI Revolution. So thank you, John Johnson, for creating this Discord. Ed and I have a call with you today. You know why. And yeah, guys, keep growing. Keep growing.
Awesome. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I look forward to that call. And congratulations on your success. You know what I'm saying? That's huge. A contract a day, guys. It's the importance of being around the right people, being in the right rooms. And that's really the purpose behind the community, is just to be in proximity with people that genuinely want to help you succeed and have the expertise to be able to guide you in the right direction. And that's what we do here.
Yeah, I also, I want to say, guys, please be patient with like the questions that you ask and really try to bring time and value in this community. Connect with people. Don't just come in these calls or don't just come in the community every time you just want something answered or want something. Like, the people that get answered, the people that get help, the people that, that have a connection with those of us on stage or whatever, like we're always going to be more inclined to talk to people who we recognize or see in the community, like helping other people out, answering questions, hanging around the Discord. I see people occasionally just come in here. They'll either come in the call or they'll come in the chat and they'll just ask a simple question that could be solved on YouTube or Google. And they'll come in here and they'll just ask it repeatedly if no one gives them an answer. And if no one answers them directly, they'll just keep asking the question and then they'll get frustrated, if someone tells them just to go to Google or YouTube. There's like, you're much more inclined to be helped if you're giving back to the community in some type of way. So, try not just to come in here just for your own personal gain or personal use. Like, we're here to make this a community. It's not, we're here to help each other out, not just to you know, suck the energy dry of, you know, people that are in here, you know, bringing value on a daily basis. So just remember that, guys.
I agree, Dan. I agree. We had some people that took us up on our offer for the open Zoom hours yesterday, like Mia. We got to know her. We're willing to help her and others, you know, as
She's
much
in
as
here
we
every day.
can. But
She's bringing deals, having communication. Like, I mean, that's what, you know what I mean? That's great.
yeah, she's building relationships.
100%.
So yeah, absolutely. Once we get to know you better, we're all willing to help in any way that we can. And yes, please don't spam the chat with the same exact question over and over and over. Somebody has seen it. If you know, we're trying the best we can usually to answer questions. So thanks for bringing that up, Dan.
Of course.
Mr. Sadai, how are you doing today, brother?
It's been quiet today.
I enjoy these kind of conversations where I just get to sit back and listen to the good folks here talk about their experiences and how they can help. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
That's good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well.
Quick question, something that's kind of popped up. I'm trying to comp a property off of PropStream. All my comps are coming up under the amount area as like 2,100 slash EST or
Rent.
2,050 EST instead of like a full amount. Can someone describe to me what's going on in that scenario, please?
I'll let
Yeah,
the
so-
prop stream experts answer that.
Dante hopped up on stage
so-
very, very quick.
What's that?
I was just saying, Dante hopped up on the stage very quick.
The non-disclosure state. Non-disclosure states don't disclose. They don't disclose the exact amount. What state is it in?
It's in Florida.
Florida's a disclosure state. So estimated, what Bob said, estimated rents.
Yeah. So PropStream is not allowed to put the exact numbers from the MLS. They had an issue with the MLS in general. And how they resolved that was to come to something very close and just put estimate. And the
Really?
MLS, yeah, and the MLS agreed to that. So even on purchase prices, if you see like, they'll have two listings a lot of times for the same property for the same day, right? And it shows that one of them says, for example, 450,000, and the other one says $448,960. Okay,
Right.
and then right next to it, it'll say estimate. So that's how they're getting around the MLS rule that they cannot put in the exact amount from the MLS, especially for those non-disclosure states that you mentioned.
Why is MLS being mad about that? That's my question.
They're so protective of their data, you know?
It's public records.
People are paying money for that.
It's public records, though.
Not in non-disclosure states.
Florida's a disclosure state, no?
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing it in Florida. Maybe they didn't have the exact number. Okay.
The weird thing to try to explain it to get a better picture is the one comp's coming up. It's like 316,000, right? And the property estimated value, no, it doesn't matter. It's 352,000. But all the other comps are coming up as 2,100, 2,000.
Yeah, those are. So what PropStream is telling you is that the ones that are coming out at like in the thousands and not in the tens or hundreds of thousands, depending on where you are, or millions, those are rents. Okay, that's what that property rented for. It's not what it's sold for. So you got to realize that.
Okay, I'll try to chase it down to the county site then, kind of see if there's any information there.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. Thanks for jumping on. Hey, I gotta really give out a shout out to John. I mean, this morning I was a couple of minutes late to this show, and he was talking about his ROI and his expenses and all that stuff. How many people do you know that are open and willing to do that? You know, that
Very
come on
few.
and say, look, this is how much I spend. I made zero or I lost money. In today's,
I
what's that?
made a video about a 25K loss on a sub 2 deal in Florida.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Right?
Very few people though, Dante, right? I mean, the media, social media, whatever, is always casting the success, the win, right? They never capture the losses, the failures, the time that you had to put in, the sweat, right? That you had to go through. Yeah, Matt, I've done those too. I didn't lose 30K, but I lost. Yeah, but there are losses everywhere. So congrats, John, for being so open. And I think that's going to be one of the major keys to your success is the fact that you're an open book. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, Bob. I appreciate everybody in the community, and yeah, that's kind of the policy. We've been just documenting the journey. I share the success, and I try not to just share the success. I try to make it as real as this business is, because I feel like that's really what people need. A lot of people they see online, like you say, just the success, and
Yeah.
that's not what the success is. The greatest part. The success is the fruit of your labor, but this business is labor intensive. You have to work. You have to fuck up. You got to
Yeah.
try to
It's a
make
grind. It's a grind.
100%.
Sure is.
And
Sure
I
is.
want I want more people to see that, because I think a lot of people they only I think some people only know of like some of the success that I've talked about. And I talked about, the deals we're closing, back when I cashed a big land deal that was huge, like big deal. Wow. Yeah, great. But what have I done since then? That's what really matters. What is going on now? Am I still closing deals? I'm still closing deals. This isn't something. Oh, I had a lucky deal, and that's going to be it for me. We're still dialing in on our marketing. We're still reinvesting into our business, and we're still biting the bullet on these investments. But it's a part of the process, and I'm happy to do it.
The only thing that I'm disappointed, I guess, or mad or sad, whatever you want to call it, is
Oh,
that you shared this nugget and only 45, 46 people got to hear it.
Mm.
You know, we got how many thousand people now, members? And only out of those, 46 people got to hear it. Their loss.
it's difficult, Bob, because I really want to be more active on social media in terms of like uploading the highlights and that kind of stuff. I just really haven't had the time to dedicate to doing it. And it's a really time intensive thing. So when I see a lot of these people on social media talking about all the time, like, I do wholesale real estate, I do wholesale real estate, I know about real estate, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know how they have the time to really do their business and be on social media all day. This
Yeah.
doesn't add up.
Right.
I see some realtors like that locally. They're always like having drinks and going out and, oh, I'm walking my latest open house, and I'm like, do you actually close deals? Look them up. Come to find out they live in an apartment. They're over here trying to get everyone their dream homes,
Yeah.
or don't even have the dream home themselves.
Hey guys, I'm afraid I got to jump off. I got a 9 o'clock call, which I'm 1 minute late to. But I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys all next week. Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you, Bob. Take care. But
So
this is the
John,
reality. What's up, Dante?
John, Facebook ads versus feed delete. We're gonna go head to head because I
I ne-
know we had
I
this.
never got any success with Speed Delete either. I spent credits, on their website. Dan and I, we
How
made
much?
calls. Dan, how many leads do you think we called
What'd you say?
back when we were calling the leads from iSpeed? How many leads do you think we called? 20,
On
50?
my live show?
No, back when it was a while ago. Do you remember when we were selecting the leads and calling the leads? You know what I'm saying? You remember that? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
How
don't
many
think
leads
those
did?
were I don't think those were fresh leads though, right? Though we were
Oh,
getting
y'all were
them.
in the clearance section.
No, those were new leads, qualified new leads. But anyway, I never found any success from that one. Um,
We're one every 10 leads that we buy, we close. Also, there's definitely a trick to understanding how they operate and how they work, and then obviously once you spend enough money with them.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm just not really trying to talk about that on the platform, to be honest, because
okay,
the business
that's fair.
model just is not really something
Yeah,
I would suggest people try. I would say people should just try to run their own ads. I think you have more control over the leads that come in because they're filling out your form. You don't know,
yeah,
if these people are selling these leads to others. There's a lot of stuff outside of your control. I think the biggest message that I have for people is like, you have control. Like take control, take control. And so
yeah,
I feel more like it's kind of like gambling.
yeah.
John says, "Why don't you ask in the chat for someone to get clips from live stream for your social?" We have the clips, man. I just haven't sat down and allocated the time to get them uploaded. I feel like I need maybe there's like a VA or somebody I could work with, that could manage the social media, but it's so crazy. Like when I say that I'm just focused on doing this business, like I really ignore everything else. Like I really just dial in and just try to focus on making this business work. There have been some people that reach out, but I don't know what happens to them. Like I don't know if they're really that serious. I don't think so. Mark Presswood, man, love the support. Thank you so much. This is the best podcast on the planet worldwide. The Revolution. Take a bite. What's better, Google PPC or Facebook ads for beginners and only a 10K budget? What do you think about that, Dan?
Only a 10K budget for Google PPC or Facebook ads. I mean, for beginners, probably Facebook ads. I mean, Google PPC really, you probably need to invest in the education first before you try it. That could end up actually costing you a lot more, and it's much higher risk. At least with Facebook, you'll be able to at least get leads. Google PPC, you could end up just getting fake stuff, not real stuff. I mean, it could take you forever and not really amount to anything. If you don't know what you're doing, so it might cost you 8 to 10K just to invest in the education. Um, but yeah,
I think whatever route you choose, you got to be prepared to spend some money. That's what I'll say. So I don't know what the problem is with our ads right now. I don't know if we're shadow banned or if it's the creative that needs to change. We're still buying the data to figure out what it is. But we were seeing some success in getting leads from the Facebook ads, and it looked like we were on track to making it work for like 2,500 a month, maybe getting a deal at 2,500 a month. But who knows? I'll have to just keep you guys posted as it progresses. Are the same
I
ads
think
that
you're
were
right. Definitely, you need money to make money, and I think there's definitely been a lot of routes where I've spent 5, 10K, didn't make anything back, and then kind of just learned the lesson from all that. So why do we keep
yeah.
doing this? So that's just the game we play, right? It's like all, and then once you get it dialed in, it's just kind of ramp up and double down. In my opinion. But
Absolutely, Matt.
Matt
I
rightly
agree.
said too. I think your ability to close is going to be huge when it comes to your ad spend. Because if you're going to get anything inbound, you got to be a closer.
I love that. And another thing Matt said, and this is what Dan talks about a lot too, is the follow up. Having a follow up and a system in place that consistently reaches out to the leads, because not all the time the people that fill out the form are going to pick up the call. And so to be following up via text and just trying to get these people on the phone, sometimes they're not going to be ready to accept your offer that you need to be at. And you just got to keep them on the follow up and see, over time if their opinion changes and if they're ready to sell. Because Dan says that, every 3 months, your life can change in the matter of 3 months. So you got to catch the people. Cam asks, are the same ads that you were getting traction on no longer getting traction? Yeah, so the thing is, the ads were getting traction, they were getting real people, and then all of a sudden they started getting bombarded with like spam, bots, and that kind of stuff. People fake forms being filled out. So I don't know what happened, if we got blacklisted or somebody like hijacked the account. There's like a lot of stuff that I don't know. We're still learning, and to learn it costs money. So I've started running ads on my own Facebook account. I've got it maxed out at $50 a day until the account gets seasoned, and then I'm still running ads on Drew's account. We're not getting any leads, but we got a couple hundred more dollars to spend. I think like at this point probably about 500 bucks, 700, 500, 600 bucks. But after that, if we don't get any more leads or nothing comes through, I'm just gonna uh, pivot, and we're probably going to we'll pivot, and I'll keep you guys posted on what I do. But I've already got a plan in mind. This isn't something that I'm going to be talking about publicly, just because of the nature of this one. This is just something different that nobody's doing right now, and I will have to kind of keep this a little bit, because I just want to do this. Like I don't know. This isn't something we're selling. This is just something I want to do. So I just want to double down on that. Matt looks like he's running some Facebook ads for lease options. Number of ad views, total audience size, 9.3K.
Ooh, Matt, can you come up and tell a little bit about that experience? I'd be interested to hear more.
We do love to talk to Matt. Here he is,
Yo,
Yeah,
Mr.
what
Matt
up? What
Riley.
up?
lease option ads, huh? You doing any type of arbitrage either, or no?
Not yet. So most of my deals are in Texas right now. So Texas does not allow lease or sandwich leases,
Yeah.
but pretty much everywhere else you can do sandwich leases. So I'm right now venturing into Florida. So Florida will be a good market for that. So I already got a couple lined up that I think would be good fits.
Are you assigning these, or are you keeping them for yourself?
Right now, just lease option assignments.
Ooh, those are my
Yeah.
favorite
So
markets.
yep. So Florida, Texas, and I'm doing the typical markets, the top 25 counties in Texas, top 20 or so counties in Florida, counties with populations only, 200 to 250 and above, all the typical stuff. So those two ads that I just posted, one, so I'm running two ads right now. So that top image is the total for both. And it's about 8 days in. So on the second one that I posted, that's the one that's been running 8 days. So 80 leads, 8 days, about only $15 or so a day, 94 cents per lead. And it's a full form. So phone number, email, name, areas of interest, estimated time that they would be ready to move. Do they have, X amount of dollars for an option fee? So I'm trying to collect as much information as possible up front. So pretty decent so far for that.
I like it.
Yeah, and the idea is for the lease options, obviously, depending on how you structure a lease option, it can be good for an investor or an owner occupant. Most of my audience or outreach prior has been investors. So everybody in my database is an investor. So I'm having to build a whole new owner occupant database. And so I'm going to leverage Facebook ads because, as we mentioned, Facebook ads are some of the cheapest lead source that you can get. It's a top of the funnel lead. So people are not usually on Facebook looking for, they didn't log on to Facebook to look for properties or to sell a property. They were on there to, post pictures of their grandkids and all the other shit that people do on Facebook. So it's a lead that needs to be nurtured more. You're going to have to put them on drip campaigns and follow-ups and everything that you can possibly do. But you can build a huge database for a very low cost with Facebook ads. So that's the goal with this is running it until we get to about 1,000 or 2,000 leads in the database. And now I have a good solid owner occupant database that every time I get a lease option, I just blast. That's my buyers list now essentially.
That's dope. You don't see nobody doing any lease options on Facebook. Everyone's doing we buy houses.
Exactly. So that was going to be, I'm reserving all of that for PPC, like any kind of seller leads for that, I think are probably best suited for PPC. Um, but I think for buyer leads, it can be very cheap. These leads were as low as 80 to 85 cents um, cost per lead. That's as low
Yeah.
as that ad set got. And then as high as right now, the individual one is about 95 cents. That's about as high as it's gotten so far. And then total for the two. So I'm running one general
Uh-huh.
in a 40 or 50 mile radius around Dallas. And that's just a general, are you
Yeah.
interested in, lease option style properties? Here's a bunch of properties we have available right now. Here's what a lease option is.
I'm interested, and it's option to purchase, right? So like, if I want to buy it, I can.
Correct. Yep. The
And
option fee you're paying is for the option to purchase that property
is there a
at that.
certain price that I can buy
Yep.
it at, or is that price
Yep.
so the price is
Yeah.
set?
So I have one right now in Dallas. I had two, but the guy's moving into it today actually. So I have a second one. It just appraised for 489 or 485 in December, and he's doing a lease option for 469 with a monthly payment of I forget $2,800 or whatever it is for 24 months. So
So
you have
24
up to
month term.
24 months. Yep. So you have up to 24 months to execute your option to purchase that property. So let's just say you went the full 24 months. In 24 months, you are the only person on the planet essentially that has the option to purchase that property for 469,
So
where
I
the
could
rest
assign it
of
or sell it and make a profit, right?
correct. Absolutely.
Ooh.
So there's a guy I was just talking to the other day. He lives in a house in Arizona, and he did a lease option on his property, and he had like 90 grand in equity by the time his lease option was done. So he was asking people what the best, what he should do at that point. So, like I said, at that point, I don't know what the property will be worth, but you're the only one that has the option to purchase it at 469 when the rest of the market, would have to purchase it for whatever
Whatever
525
market
or
value is
whatever
at
the
that
market
time.
value is exactly. Um, the
Bro, I'd
property
be
could be
interested. Anything north of Dallas, so like Collin County area. Are you doing Collin County?
Yeah, Collin County's on the map. Yeah.
Yeah, so anything Collin County, Allen, Texas, Richardson, maybe like central to West Plano. I'm your guy. I want something for myself actually.
Yeah, Allen has been popping up recently. I just got one of the buyers. They were messaging me this morning saying they were interested in Plano too. So I'm going to use that as well. Like, they reach out and on the form they put the city or zip code that they're interested in.
Yeah.
And then if I can get them on the phone or they engage through the automation, when they tell me where they're interested in, I just I just create a tag in the CRM or Plano, whatever it is, Waco, wherever they're interested. So now when I get properties in those areas, I just search those tags and blast them out. So now I'm using the buyers list to now go search for properties in those areas too. Same way that you would do
Smart.
with investors, right? You got an investor buyer who told you he wants a fix and flip in Allen, Texas. Now you go find a property in Allen, Texas. So if I have a bunch of tenant,
I'm personally looking to buy in Allen, Texas. So if you got something I can buy in Allen, Texas, I'd be interested in looking at it.
Yeah, man, I'll keep you in mind for sure. I'd rather send it to you first than anybody else. So I'll
For
definitely
sure.
you and a couple other people on that buyers list. Frisco is another one that seems to be crazy.
Frisco's
I got
popping. Do you know why?
I have not my Las Vegas realtor. He's actually going to move from Vegas to Texas, and he wants Frisco and only Frisco. He's like, I truly think that Frisco is probably going to be like the hottest market of all
Do you know
markets.
what Frisco's doing?
What?
Let me give you the rundown. So Frisco, Texas has an entire neighborhood built by Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Sales Cowboys. Yep.
It's pretty much like Jerry's world, if you will, right? And so it's a little neighborhood of high rises, skyscrapers. The training facility for the Dallas Cowboys is there. Right across the freeway, you have a D League baseball team stadium. You also have, you guys ready for this? PGA is getting their headquarters built there. You also have another Universal Studios being built.
Jesus. Yeah,
About
he is.
about 5-10 years ago, Toyota moved 10,000 of their employees from Northern California to Plano, Texas, which but Plano, the area in Plano was right next to Frisco. Frisco's hot, bro.
Yeah, he loves it, and yeah, it's right outside DFW. Yeah, he's like, I truly think it's going to be the hot. I had one for him lined up. As soon as he told me that, I already was kind of in talks with a seller for a lease option. Had an in-ground pool because he wants something like nice and luxury. So this was going to be like a $700,000 or $800,000 lease option property. I had it lined up, but she decided she was going to live in it for a little bit longer. But Frisco's been on the on my map. And like I said, as of the last couple of days, there's a lot of buyers that have said Allen, Texas as well. So that's
Yeah,
going to
bro.
be on there.
I'd be down for Allen, Texas, Plano, Frisco. Any of those north. It's kind of North Dallas is what they call it. Yeah, those are. I'm very familiar with the area. I lived there for about 8, 9 years.
Yep, and I'm trying to structure everything too, so it's as appealing as possible to both investors and owner occupants. So I used to do lease options where the monthly payment would be higher. I was trying to make it
Mhm.
more appealing to the seller, right? Because I was like, okay,
Right.
what is the tenant buyer's estimated monthly payment going to be when they actually go purchase the property? So if rents in the area were 2,500, maybe the lease option monthly payment was 3 grand because that's what 6% financing would have been, and it was appealing to the seller. But I was like, you know what? Let's try to get as many eyeballs on this thing as possible. So now I'm just going off rents, and then I'm even trying to do. Let's just say rents are $2,000 a month average. I'll do an investor underwrite on that, and I'll chop off 20% for expenses, management, and everything else. And that's where I'm starting off at on my at least a break even for LTR. And then
Yeah.
hopefully it has other, midterm rental, short term rental. Like the Dallas property, you can do short term rental out of there, and it can be
No,
furnished for.
Dallas completely. They're like disbarring Airbnb. I got buddies trying to offload their houses now because they were strictly Airbnb.
They better hold on. Did you see the court the what just happened in that court date at the
No,
end of
oh,
December?
somebody's fighting it. Oh, of course.
Oh, dude, the judge just put a halt on it.
Oh, I
So
believe it.
a group of investors got together and did like a class action lawsuit, and they brought it, and it was right at the end of December, and the judge put a. I watch a lot of Suits. I forget what that's called. But basically put a halt on the Airbnb bans. And
No
after that, I talked to
way.
a bunch. Yeah, so it happened like literally at the end of December, like December 29th,
That's
I think it was, something like
fucking
that.
dope. Yeah, that's
So in
super dope.
Texas, yeah. So and the judge, they put clips of what the judge said during the court date, and um, she was very much on the side of the investors, like, hey, these people stand to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, for the amount of money that they've put into the purchases, into the furnishings, everything else. And you guys, it's basically Texas is being Texas. They're like, this is unconstitutional. You can't tell people what they can and cannot do with their properties.
Dude,
They have
Texas, when
free
it
use of
comes
their
to the rights,
properties.
Texas does not fuck around when it comes to their rights. Like these guys, they go hard. Not only that, I've had people because Dallas was where I did my first wholesale deal, so I kind of accumulated some, a little bit of a network there from.
Oh, it was a bitch though for me to like when I was trying to figure out because I knew about the short term rental ban, and so when I had those two properties, I was on like the zoning maps. and I was trying to
Mhm.
it was a absolute bitch to figure out like which properties allow short-term rentals, which ones don't. And then
Mhm.
after seeing that, and then talking to a couple like attorneys and agents and things like that,
Mhm.
it's an injunction. That's what it is. So
Right.
it's a halt on short. So you can do whatever you want now. There are no short-term rental bans while the injunction is in place, and the next court date
So
isn't until like June or July.
I have a friend. She does. She started off short term. I don't know if you guys ever look her up, Vivian Yip. But this woman is going to be blowing up soon. She's got a website called Corporate Rentals USA. She had switched. She had 9 Airbnbs in Austin. She had switched all of them to midterm rentals. When COVID hit, short-term rentals stopped producing as much.
Yep.
So she started getting in contact with insurance companies, companies that need relocations for traveling professionals, and a lot of these people will pay almost double what market rents are. And so she came out with a clause though. So there's a clause in all of her. So let's say the person wants to stay for only a week, they can do a 30-day clause with the option to move out if you want to. Almost
Uh,
kind of avoiding the whole short-term rental thing. Now, of course, if you're in some HOAs, you got to be careful, right? So,
but in
but
terms of the
yeah,
actual city, that's what I
yeah,
was talking about with that shelf company I bought. I flew out to LA like years ago, and I was going to use it for Airbnbs, purchasing Airbnbs in California. And at that point, LA County had just put in a short-term rental ban
yeah,
because there was a big everybody was renting out these big mansions, and these parties were taking place, and it became such a nuisance. And I don't know if people died or what happened from like these big parties. So LA
mhm,
County finally was like, no more short-term rentals. So it was banned in the counties, and then people started coming up with these little caveats of how to get around it. So that's where like
yep,
corporate rentals started coming in place, and different documents and agreements and things like that. So
yep,
there's definitely ways to get around it. I always say that. Like, there's no way fucking everybody in Dallas County, all the investors that purchase properties for the sole purpose of short-term rental, there's no way that they're all going to go, oh man, we can't do this anymore. All right, well, what do we do now?
mhm,
Like, there's ways to get around it for sure. So thankfully,
yep,
until at least June or July, there's an injunction in place, and it sounds like it's going to get overturned altogether. And then you'll just have to get, typical to other locations, you'll have to get permitted and licensed to run a short-term rental.
I like it. I want some of those lease options, bro. You got them in Florida too. Anything in St. Petersburg or Tampa, shoot those my way. And what I love about what Matt's saying is he's buying them a little bit under equity of what they're worth now. So in 24 months, which I love the 24-month one because a lot can happen in 2 years.
Yep.
So with
And
a lot
now
can happen in 2 years, you can get a lot of appreciation in that property and then turn around and sell that house and then make your profit off is an
I'm
option.
getting I'm getting I gotta look up where this one is. I'm getting a 36-month signed in Florida. Um, hopefully today I sent it out. Had a good conversation with the owner, who was also the agent. Um, So I used to do 12 months, again, trying to make it as appealing as possible to the seller. I'm like, all right, 12 months, higher monthly payment. Now I'd rather get less contracts, but the ones I do get are very appealing. So under current market, and
Mhm.
now I'm saying at least 18 months I need on the lease option. And then in Texas, you can only go up to 36 months. So anywhere from 18 to 36 months. And then in Florida, as long as you'll give me up to 5 years. So I got a guy for 30.
You could even refinance, correct?
Yeah, you can take it to the bank and go, again, you're the only person that has the ability. And the way that I structure them is, you're obviously, the option fee you pay is reduced from the overall purchase price. So round number sake, it's a $400,000 purchase price, $20,000 option. Your true purchase price is 380. And then I also structure it where the seller is giving you closing costs at the time of the sale. So that might be anywhere from five to $10,000 that you can use for closing costs, interest rate buy down, or a further price reduction. So let's say it's 10 grand. You're going from 400 to 380, now down to 370. So it's a 370 purchase price in 24 months for a house that might be worth 450 at that point, or who knows. Plus, it allows you, a lot of people want to run midterm rental or short-term rental out of these properties that have never been used as a short-term rental or midterm rental. So to get financing up front for a property that has no historic data on it for generating income, it's very hard to go get a DSCR loan or something like that on the front side with something that has no data. So a lease option allows you to get in without financing, start running midterm rental, short-term rental, whatever you want out of it, generate that historical data of income over the next 12 or 24 months. Now, when you go get financing on the backside, it's that much easier because you actually have true numbers to show that lender.
I like that.
And worst comes to worst, the deal falls up. Like, most of these are 5% entries. So I was talking to a guy the other day and I was like, worst comes to worst, you test out the midterm rental on this thing for 12 to 18 months and it doesn't work out the way that you thought it would. You're probably going to make at least your 5% money back. And then you can just walk away from the property if you want it to. Like, there's no recourse to you, you're not going to get foreclosed on. There's no litigation. You have the true ability to walk away as well if you wanted to. You're not tied to a mortgage, none of those things. So it allows you kind of ultimate flexibility as the buyer.
I like it.
Yeah, but I'll send you over. Like I said, as I start
Yeah, let
hitting
me know.
Allen and Frisco harder, because I know I got him for Frisco, so I've been meaning to get something for him. Anything I get in those areas, I'll definitely send it to you.
Yeah,
And those insurance rentals are crazy. The same guy that wants that Frisco property in Vegas, we've done a couple deals together. He's got a decent portfolio of short-term rentals in Vegas. One of them gets rented out to the UFC for the show. And it usually, it does very well. It's a big, huge house. It's got the pool. It's got everything in it. And an insurance company came to him. They wanted to rent it for like $35,000 a month. It was a guy he was building this new construction home, this huge mega mansion of a home, and something happened. So he needed to get housed for a year, and it almost went through. The only reason it didn't is because the house was a little bit farther away from his kid's school than he'd like. Otherwise, he was going to move forward, and the insurance company was going to pay $35,000 a month. They are the guarantors of the rent, and a lot of times they pay the rent up front. So he just has somebody. He has this girl that he kind of works with, and she's the middle person for the insurance company. So every time he's got an available unit, he just sends it to her, and she'll check her database to see if she's got anybody. So places that he usually rents for like 2,500 will get 4,500 to $6,000. Greg, I appreciate. Looks like I reached out to Greg on a listing I had in Frisco. It was extended days. The market with the HOA wouldn't allow anything but a homestead buyer. Yeah, those are tough.
What a small world,
Because
man.
that's awesome.
it really
Yeah,
is. It
I had
really
another
is.
one. That's awesome that Greg's in here because obviously did not invite Greg, so that's awesome that he's in here, and that shows how much outreach I really do on these properties. Um, yeah, I had another one that was the same exact way where they only allow owner occupants, so it's tough. You can still do them, but it just creates a little. You need a very specific end buyer then at that point. Greg, let's connect though. If you got that listing and I was interested in, I'm sure you do other things that I'd be interested in as well. So I would love to connect here and on a call as well.
There you go.
All
All
right,
right,
guys, I
ladies
gotta
and
take my
gentlemen.
kids and stuff done. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Dante, I'm gonna hit you a DM after this.
yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the number one most valuable real estate community in existence. If you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them that link, reirev.com or discord.gg/reirev. Love y'all. Have an amazing weekend. Take care.